Hey, this is Nick Moke for Digital Trends. Today we are checking out the Aliph Jawbone Icon. This is the latest and greatest icon from Jawbone. Anybody who knows the sort of Bluetooth headset space knows Jawbone is sort of the premium player in that area. This is their $99 icon, and we're going to take a look at some of the features it has today, including some that were not present on the last Jawbone Prime. So we're going to start with a sort of partial unboxing of this thing here. Even though we've already torn this thing apart a million times, just wanted to show you as you take the case apart here. When you open it up, you have actually a bunch of options for fitting this thing in your ear. The option that comes fitted on it is this sort of earbud that has almost like a loop in it that actually sort of locks it into your ear. You don't need to have this loop here that actually goes behind the ear active when you use one of these three, including the third that's already on there. For us, that fit actually worked really well. We didn't find ourselves wanting the extra security of behind the ear support, but if you do want to do that, this actually clips right on, and you can do that in addition to these, or you can switch to the bottom four, which are not designed to provide any support on their own. They're supposed to be used in conjunction with this, and those, we didn't find it that much more comfortable or anything. We would just assume not have these, but it's nice that Aliph gives you the option to have all these different options for making this fit in your ear. So now let's take a closer look at this thing. Alright, so let's take a sort of tour around here. This headset comes in a couple different styles. This is actually the Rogue, which has this sort of beveled, it looks like it's actually like an opal gloss black, but if you look at it in the sun, you can actually see it has this sort of dark red shade to it. It's partially translucent. So this is just one of, I think, 6 styles that Jawbone makes, and we were really happy with it. I mean, it does collect fingerprints, but it looks nice. If you flip around to the other side here, again, we have this sort of earbud fit that we were talking about. This is the one that comes pre-installed on it. Worked fine for us. This here in the middle is the power switch. It's on now. That's what the blue is showing. And at the end here, we actually have the this is actually presses up against your face, and it detects when you're actually moving your mouth, and that's what actually makes the voice isolation in this thing work. In our demonstrations with it, in our testing with it, the voice isolation worked really, really well. Especially, we went down to the street and we tested it by sort of walking around where there's dump trucks and buses going by, really loud stuff, and people on the other end could barely hear it. The only part where it did sort of fall apart with noise isolation was we went for a ride on a bicycle, and probably after about 10 miles an hour, it just got too loud to the point where the party on the other end couldn't really hear us anymore. They said it actually kind of sounded like warbling like a sheet of tin or something like that. The noise isolation sort of makes the wind sound like that. But in general, really, really good, and probably among the best noise isolation that we've experienced on a Bluetooth headset. Around the back here, there's a button. This is the only button on this thing, and it actually works with some apps that are on this. That's another unique feature of the icon that the Prime didn't have. Is it has, they call them dial apps and voice apps. Voice apps actually control the voice that you hear when you have this thing on. There's different ones. They correspond to the names of the actual designs. So you can put the Rogue on here. It's sort of a European sounding guy that's like Antonio Banderas or something. And you can switch them up. They all have personality. They're a little bit over the top, but we actually thought they were pretty fun. And dial apps are what make use of this button. You can make it so that when you press this down and hold it, it dials any number of different things. There's only a few apps right now, but we have one that calls a service actually where you can actually hold this down, it'll dial a number, and you can leave yourself a voice note, and it'll actually transcribe that note for you and send it to you in your email. Pretty cool, pretty useful, and we're actually pretty excited to see what else Aliph will cook up as they continue to make use of that app functionality. So at $99, this is one of the spendier Bluetooth headsets you can buy, but it is cheaper than the Prime right now, which is the older Jawbone headset. That's $130. We think even for $100, this thing is a great deal. It's really comfortable. It works great at isolating noise, and the apps are just fun to play around with. So if you're in the market for a fashionable and very functional headset, this is it.